Welcome to the Two Aces One Game podcast powered by Onflow Media. My name is Alex Sipkorowski, and joining me once again is Alex Stojanowski. Stoj, welcome.
Thanks, Yard. Exciting week. I think we can already tell you now Avondale's game, the goal of the week, probably the goal of the round.
We will start there, but let's first start with, we have a major sponsor. Thank you to the sponsor. They continually to support us throughout the year. It's Domain Barbers at 15 Yarra Place, South Melbourne. So get down there. Make sure you let them know that you're a friend of the podcast and they'll look after you. But let's kick things off. Avondale versus Danny Thunder. Let's start off with the goal. Emlyn Wellsmore received the ball at the halfway line, dribbled past three players, and absolutely hit a rocket that I don't think Withers had any chance of the day to think that. The only thing he could do was take it out of the back of the net.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was Ethan Rigg covering that game at Danny Thunder's ground. It was an unbelievable goal. I mean, there's probably not a lot in that game, to be fair. And then you had a goal that just went bang. And that's simple as that. I mean, 1-0, there wasn't a lot in it, to be fair. And sometimes a piece of brilliance like that does enough for you.
Well, they needed a piece of brilliance because, as you said, that game, not much in there. Danny Thunder coming off back-to-back losses. Avondale coming up a 5-0 win, so they're looking to make it 2 in a row. For them, they got the win. They're starting to really find that little magic, as we like to call.
Yeah, I think they're starting to fine-tune themselves a little bit. Their performances will start to gradually be a little bit more consistent. And hopefully, it's in the direction of where they want the club to be. And of course, that is winning another championship.
It is indeed. Will they make it? Time will tell. Let us know in the comments if you think that Avondale can, potentially get the trophy back. Friday night was another big game, a huge game. It was obviously Green Gully versus Hume City. It's a massive game in the grand scheme of things because David Chick playing coaching against his former side, which is a massive game. Gully coming into this game again, 3 straight losses in a row. Pressures on David Chick and his coaching staff. Another loss here, potentially facing an axe.
Yeah.
But in this game, ended up 1-1, which was pretty much unexpected results if you think about the grand scheme of things.
Look, I was thinking about Friday night's games last week when we were going through the predictions, and I just had this gut feeling both games were going to be draws, and it ended up being, the case this time around. But there was not much between these two sides at all, if anything. And you look at that match and you think, Green Gully, 0-3, that's how much pressure is on each individual to actually come into that game and be like, okay, we need to really start stepping it up here because Chick's not happy. I can imagine those Chelsea rooms. He's not throwing stuff around yet, but I'm telling you, he's probably not far from it. But they responded. I think they went down. They got level. I thought they could almost win at us.
I don't think so. I think it was a stupid foul by Luka Romic. I mean, he came out and cleaned up the tackle. There was no need.
Yeah,
3 defenders behind him. They could have easily cleaned it up. But Burke and Kadir scored. And as you mentioned, Gully did get one back through Scott Lockhead, who started off the goal. So he started off from his own half, switched it to the middle, then made a run into the box. And it was a good cross in the end. And it got him. So 1-1. Hume will be disappointed by that result, but Gully can maybe build off that one.
I think they will build off it. I think the main thing as well is they've got a point now, but they need more. They need more. They
need to win.
They need to win, yeah. I mean, that's really going to be the only way to instill the confidence within the squad.
Next game Friday night, Dandy City versus George Cross. So George Cross undefeated, top of the table in this one. They were really pushing to make it, a win for them. It's a long road trip from from Caroline Springs all the way to Dandenong. So these two teams last played in 2018, NPL 2. So the last time George Cross beat Dandy City was back in round 21, 2014. So a long time. But again, in this game, finished up 0-0, probably a fair result, you would say. Both teams having chances, but not really clinical in front of goals.
The question you probably ask is, who's the happy of the two sides? In that scenario, 0-0, would you say Caroline Springs would be Eric Artist? Maybe would be more happy with the 0-0?
I think so. Another clean sheet. This is their, I think, 3rd clean sheet in 4 games. So, look, a point away against a good side.
Point, yeah, you're right.
So it does not.
And currently sitting in 12th now with that 1 point. So, I mean, they're there. That's a draw. Look, probably suits both sides. It's early in the season. Both teams do just want to gradually continue to grab points and perform well. But I think, George Cross will be more happy out of the two with that 0-0 result.
We'll go on to the next game, Saturday night. between Altona Magic and St Albans Saints. Both teams are coming into this game with back-to-back losses. I think Altona, again, favourite to be the winners of this game, but unfortunately for them, Mikael Platt scored a really good goal, diving header. I'm just going to leave it at that. This game was, the less we say, the better. I was commentating this game with Adam Palombi, and it was hard to find a positive out of this one at all. I think
More of a
Magic.
worry though for now,
I think,
both clubs. I know St Albans got the win, but is that
it's a worry for Magic.
I mean, St Albans, that was their first win of the season. So, I mean, it's a good start for them to get that win. I mean, these are not going to be the performances that keep you in the league, does it?
No.
Yeah.
And you look at Magic against Oakley, probably a bit unlucky, disallowed goal, 2-2 at the time. The following games, pretty similar. You know,
It's a lapse of concentration.
red card, and then they get, 2 goals in the space of a couple of minutes. This is the pretty much, I think they're in trouble. Believe it or not.
Yeah, look, they started on the front foot, and since then it's gradually gone backwards. And the thing is with Altona Magic now, they need to start getting points. Like there's no ifs or buts. I mean, at home against Melbourne Zimmer, like it's the best chance for you to get a win. I mean, there's going to be sides that are going to come to Paisley Park and they're going to be licking their lips when they're thinking of how many goals they're going to try and score against the Magic. So in South Melbourne last week, come with Bernard off the bench and he scored 2. I mean, St Albans Dimmer, very happy out of the 2 sides. They get the 3 points. They move on to next week with a bit of confidence. But Magic, now it's time to, pull up your socks, Arts. I think the training session is now probably going to be intense. They're going to be really focusing on trying to get the next game.
If I was Gibbo, I would say bring the gloves and the mouth guards because it's going to be on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Next game that we're going to talk about is South Melbourne versus Bentleigh Greens. South Melbourne, I'm not sure how they're managing. They got OFC commitments, they got NPL commitments, but you got to give credit to Sinisha Pelagic. He's doing an absolute unbelievable, fantastic job. Like, I don't think there is any other coach that could possibly do that in the league. You got to pick 2 teams. Like I know this league of the OFCs in Melbourne, it's helping them, but still they're getting maximum points. I mean, I barred them that loss against Hume City. They're getting points, and this one again, what a mistake! I can't believe Brendan White gifted the goal to Jordan Swibble. He literally just handed him on a platter.
He just had the ball at his feet,
and then rather than getting rid of it, he's tried to dribble it.
Either that, or I don't know, maybe it was a glitch in the FIFA system. It's like the goalkeeper's AI not working, freezing, nothing's working. You're pushing buttons, and that's what it felt like when you're watching it anyway. But I watched it back a couple of times, and I was just trying to put myself in his boots. I just couldn't figure out what he was trying to do. Was he like in 2 minds? It was a bit of a strange one, to be honest. And to think that was the goal to settle it, it's probably kicking the guts if you're Bentleigh Greens. If you're South Melbourne, who cares? Why you win the game? It doesn't matter.
All you got to do is just shut up shop for the next 88 minutes and, get maximum points. But Bentleigh, I'm worried about them. They had no shots on goal at halftime, and after halftime, that's one. That's not the first time they've done this season. They are really struggling. Other than that win they had against Avondale, just got them at the right time. They really haven't shown anything. Defensively, look, they might be solid, but when you've got half the team, playing the defensive half, it's a worry going forward because they need goals. You need goals to sap in this league. You can't afford to.
I think I understand what they're trying to achieve with the setup, the block, trying to win the ball, and then hit them on the counter. I mean, it worked a few weeks back when they won 2-0, but now against sides when they go down, you have to change your shape. You have to commit a bit more players forward. It's a risky kind of game.
Yeah, but I think they're pretty much one of the 2 teams I've really think they're going to struggle. But look, we'll keep moving on. Sunday, 2 games. What 2 games these were? Melbourne City versus Oakley Cannons. Well, Melbourne City youngsters. Well, Roland Bala scored in 18th minute. What a finish that was too. On the left-hand side, he's gone on the right foot, put it past the keeper. It was a beautiful finish from the youngster. Like, you expect that from the season campaigner, like an Alex Salmon or
even Liston Diaz, who's over the
exactly. But it was a brilliant goal from the youngster. But Oakley, once again, Kingsley Sinclair, a little dink over the top. Who was on the end of it, as you mentioned, Liston Diaz, and he slots it away. And when he's fit and in form, he's one of the strikers to watch. I don't think anyone had him to be the top goal scorer, Golden Boot. Everyone probably would have thought his compatriot, Alex Salmon. I think listen, Diaz has got to be the Golden Boot favorite because he's scoring almost every game, if not every second game.
There's a few players there Arts, that can definitely pinch that golden boot. And yeah, I couldn't put it past Liston Diaz to not be fighting for that golden boot. Charlie run. I think maybe potentially looking at least 15 goals this season. Arts, I think.
I think if he can get 15, that's a solid result for a player who's probably had it interrupted the 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But if he can, great. But look, Oakley Cannons 1-1 draw. Probably, I think who would be happy out of the two? I think City.
Melbourne City, yeah. But I think I told you before the game, well, I predicted Melbourne City to win that. But I was saying shock of the round, but don't be shocked because Melbourne City are playing some good football. And they're no pushovers. You know, whether you're playing at home or away, if they're playing the way they are now, you're going to have to work for 3 points. It's not going to be a push. It's not going to be like, you know, if you go to Paisley Park and Magic, you know, when they're off, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
It's looking really, and even with Bentley, you know, you look at those two, whereas Melbourne City, they play a nice, flourishing kind of football. You know, they've moved the ball around quite well. They have dangerousness in kind of set pieces as well.
Yeah.
I think like they can score from anything.
Look, I think last week that red card didn't help. They were up in that game up until that red card. It was, like we said, it was a stupid red card, but they were in that game. And I think once they got that red card, it changed the game. But we can't go back in the past. Next game, it was tipped to be the game of the round. St. Lions versus Heidelberg, a big game. A lot of people out at Preston's ground. Look, you're looking at this game, you thought, wow, this is going to be game of the round.
I can picture it for you. One side, Chevapi, everyone's getting him rolled out. The other side, Suvlakis, you know. And then I'll tell you what, Suvlakis in the end, they probably taste better after that 1-0 win for Heidelberg.
Look, it was a game of chances, and you obviously would have heard Zoran Markowski talk about it. They didn't take their chances. Unfortunately, they got punished up at the other end. And once Heidelberg get that lead, it's very, very hard to get it back from them. They really played a really strong game because if you look at it too, they had, I think, a couple of players who came off. I think Ben Collins came off. And you think Ben Collins, you know, he played at Western United in the A-League, really strong defender. You thought, you know, maybe they could get him through that way, but his replacement did an excellent job.
Yeah, Anthony Theo and that Jay McGowan, Joseph Lee came off at halftime with Benjamin Collins as well. And you thought for a sec, an interesting decision from a coaching perspective to make 2 subs at halftime because you just felt like it wasn't working in the first half, and it was the right decision in the end.
Well, that's why they get paid the big bucks, as they say, and it's paid off in 3 points, a valuable 3 points. Asahi Yokokawa scoring after probably some poor defending from Preston. I think a lapse in concentration, best way to describe it. But their first loss for the season.
No major setback, really. Look, it's probably one of those games where if you're Preston Lions, you know, you're going to find it tough against the sides that are fighting up above the table, right? Heidelberg, you know, your Oakleys.
No, I would say no. Do you know why?
Why?
Look at Preston's front part.
I know you can.
Probably one of the best in attacking.
You can say that. That's a valid point. But Heidelberg, I know, defensively, they're
not saying they're slouches by any means.
Yeah.
But you look at Preston's front three or the front half of that, the forward line, they should be easily killing.
Well, the disallowed goal was because of the Jonas Markowski offside. Do you think that was lazy not to move out of position? Do you feel like
it was lazy last week against Melbourne City? What a goal that would have been for, you know, Stefan City. It would have been a brilliant goal.
It was a nice finish. I'm just thinking, was the keeper completely obviously blindsided, or do you feel like he would have had a chance to save it?
It's hard to say, but I think that's laziness from Markowski. That's 2 weeks in a row he's caused his team not to get a goal. Last week they got away with it. This week against Heidelberg, you can't afford to do that, especially against Heidelberg.
I think in some scenarios, like as a forward, you get put in situations. I think that time maybe he was just a bit lucky. I'll be honest, from my perspective anyway. I don't think he was trying to be in that play, but it happened very quickly.
Dude, if you're a striker, the number one thing you're told is know where you're positioned.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
He knew he was, you know, whether he meant it or not. Look, hey, next time I'm sure he'll learn from him. I'm sure he would have had a few words to him. But look at the look at the ladder. As you can see, South Melbourne, top of the table. How many people would have had them top of the table after 4 rounds?
Yep.
Especially with
two OFC as well. OFC involved. Well, I think most people predicted them to finish around 6 to 4. Yep. I think that's probably a fair reflection of what they thought would be a challenging campaign considering OFC, considering the rotation of the squad that would have to occur due to the amount of fixtures they're playing. And right now, top of the tree after 4 round outs, if you're a South Melbourne fan, you'd be very happy.
Oh, look, I think they'll be happy as Larry, as they say. Second, Heidelberg, again, that one loss was just a blip in the radar for them. I think, again, they can really go forward.
Yeah, you know what, though? It only leaves us with one undefeated team.
Just Ross. A lot of people pick these guys to be relegated. But if you have a look, 2 wins, 2 draws, no losses, undefeated team.
And who do they play next?
They play Preston, but we'll get to that. But George is 4 games, 3 clean sheets for a newly promoted side.
Really good.
That's telling you that's, potentially those clean sheets could save them, because I had a look at the average. You need a minimum between 18 to 20 points to stay out of the bottom 3.
Yeah.
They're on 8. Can they get another, say, 4 wins? I definitely think so.
At home.
They
look great at home.
Yeah.
They look great at home. They're going to play their free-flowing style of football. And defensively, they are absolutely on top of it.
Yeah, and teams like, getting to Dandy City and getting a point there, big game coming up. Oakland Cannons, look, probably where most people expected them, like 7 points.
Ups and downs is probably what we expected so far, but they'll be there. They have the quality from an attacking output, but, defensively, is where the questions will be asked.
Yeah, exactly. Hume City, probably the surprise of the top 6, I think. I don't think many people tipped them. I think they would have been outside maybe the 10th, 11th spot, but that's a pretty good position there for Hume City. You've got Avondale, 6 points. They're starting to pick up back-to-back wins. Melbourne City
on 5, not bad.
Yeah, not
2
bad.
draws.
Most people would have had them relegated.
Only lost 1 game so far now.
I would have had them too as relegated. Bentley on 4 points. Dynamo on 4. Preston Lions, obviously, that -6 start didn't help them.
Yeah, that was 3.
That would have been on 9.
That would be top right now, basically a goal difference, it looks like. But look, it's no setback really for them. They feel confident they'll come back around.
Yeah. So look, I mean, they're 1.5 games away from the top 6, so not a really big issue. Turner Magic, probably where we expected them. Dandy City, cut back to -4.
And then you've got Green Gully.
Dandy Thunder, Green Gully.
It's an odd one though, when you look at those. You would not suspect those bottom 2 to be where they are now.
Dandy Thunder, I had him just outside the relegation battle. I saw a lot of key players, didn't really get players that came into on that same level. Green Gully, I expected them. Most people would have them in their top 6. And they are, look, the goal difference, -8. It's the worst.
Do you still think they have a chance to make top 6 cuts?
They would have to go on a run. And if we look at their run going forward, it's going to be a big, big moment for them to really do it. But we'll talk about their run later on. We'll talk about next. We'll start off with VPL1. We want to thank our major sponsor, Domain Barbers at 15 Yarra Place in South Melbourne. If you're looking to get your haircut, make sure you go down and visit these guys and let them know you're a friend of the sponsor. I'm sure they'll look after you. But thank you so much for Domain Barbers at 15 Yarra Place, South Melbourne. Back to the games. That's VPL1. The Chaos League, as we like to call it, and everyone else likes to call it. This was another big round of football, and we'll start off with Friday night. Melbourne.
A lot of games on Friday night.
A lot of games. Port Melbourne versus Western United. Most people would have had Western United romping home, but it wasn't all easy. Western United did get up to a 3-0 head start at half time.
Started well.
Yeah, and then once again, goals from Al Sheikh, Mark Leonard, and Victor Mohindo. But Port, they came back with 2 good goals, Jason Quinlan and Andrew Alexiou, to make it a respectable 3-2, 4 losses in a row. How much longer will the Port fans accept this? Or do you think they've accepted it and just really just going through their motions now?
Look, it's still early in the season, but when it becomes repetitive, I think it's just a matter of how long before you make the change. Because, I mean, you have to change something else.
Can they afford to make the change? Because really, with the squad they've got, can they afford to really make a change?
Hey, look, honestly, if things aren't working, you have to. You have to keep changing. You have to try something different, right? I mean, if something's not going the way it does, it's not like you can just keep it going the way it is. It's just going to continue getting worse. Look, end of the day, it's the way I see it is you look at the reflective of games they've played so far. They weren't really in any of them.
I think they were in the Bulleen game. They went down 2-1.
Maybe the Bulleen game, but that's an outlier compared to the other games. Obviously, this one, they're 3-0 down. Western United did get a sending off, mind you. There was a red card in that game. I do remember that. tilted them to try and come back into it. One gave Port Melbourne away back in the game. They're not going to have that every week. That's not going to have a red card. They're not going to be playing with an extra player every week.
Exactly. Yeah.
Look, it's tough. If you're in Port Melbourne shoes, you probably don't want to be in those shoes right now. If I'm being honest.
Those sinking feeling shoes, but that's 4 straight losses in a row. Not looking good to them. Western United back-to-back wins. The other game Friday night at Brunswick Juventus versus Melbourne Knights. This one had a little bit of spice in there. Former coach Mick Calandrella coming back to his old side, who helped get them promoted into VPL1. Very tight affair, this one. And once again, pretty similar to Avondale, it needed a wonder goal, and that wonder goal came through Adam Otto.
Oh, yeah.
It was a brilliant goal. Took the intercepted pass from Luka Lovic and absolutely smashed that one in the back of the net. Check out my Instagram page for the video. It's on there. But look, 1-0, that's all it took, and Melbourne Knights claim all 3 points.
It's another frustrating result for Brunswick Juventus because they were definitely in that game for most parts. It's like, if you watch back that goal, you see the turnover. I think you can even hear one of the people in the crowd mentioned, "Oh, like no, you turn it over and you just that shot, that goal was a ripper. But just to turn it over in that part of the pitch, it's so dangerous, and that is what a way to get punished. To be honest, from 40 yards, I mean, you had Wellsmore, and then you have Otto, and it's like take your pick, really, take your pick, because they were both absolute belters.
Both great goals, but back-to-back losses for Brunswick Juventus and for Melbourne Knights, 3 in a row. So climbing up the ladder.
They're coming back after their first round loss to North Geelong in the Croatian derby. They're looking good, Utz. And look, I can only imagine from here, they're in a good position.
Confidence sky high, so
to make their way back up.
They are indeed. Next game, Eltham Redbacks versus Brunswick City. Again, another good game. Look, for the neutrals, you would have loved this game. 2-2 in the end. Trans Capetas getting a double for Brunswick City, while for Eltham, Finn Diamond and also Billy Romas make it 2-2. So again, Eltham Redbacks getting promoted. One of the, I think, 6 promotions in the last couple of years. They're really starting to cement themselves.
They're looking good up.
Although they might be disappointed they did drop points to Brunswick City, who probably not playing their best football at the moment, but in their experience side, I don't know how they grind out those results.
They seem to find their way in their games. I think that the coaching staff's doing a great job at Brunswick City. They've had a turnover of players they've had to deal with. Yeah. They've lost Arte Ibrahim. He's moved over to Whittlesea United. They've lost more players in that team. And to be fair, they're still fighting games. They're in games. They're leading that game in the early 17th minute. Yeah. For them now, it's just a matter of disciplinary, because they got another sending off. I think they got a sending off before. I think I might have to be corrected though. Kobe Timms.
Kobe Timms, 92nd minute for a second yellow.
Yeah, and that second yellow came in within 12 minutes, 13 minutes. It was not far off it. So, look, there was a lot riding in the game, and you can see there was, in the total that came up, there was about 7 bookings. So you can see there was a lot of fight in that game. Both teams wanted to win it, and probably a draw was, I'd say, probably the fair result.
Yeah. I think for both sides, we'll take that. Next game, what a mouth-watering clash. 2 undefeated teams going at it, but this had cinema written all over it. We'll put that meme up, but it was Northcote who led through Terry Swaby at the 42nd minute. Noah Spaseski made a 2-0 absolute peach of a goal. Check out Northcote City's pages, the social pages. It was an absolute ripper of a goal. And then Giorgio Sedenis made it 3 at the 82nd minute. What a win by Northcote. Undefeated. After 4. Most people were a bit iffy about this team. The coach from Tasmania has brought over a lot of Tasmanians, but the first loss for North Geelong Warriors against a very good Northcote outfit who probably now will start to see him as the favourite to get promoted back to the top tier.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Utz. And is it Max Clark, the head coach for the Northcote City senior squad? And I'm just thinking, every manager in the league, are they going to start pinching players from Tasmania? Because right now that's apparently working well in the VPL1 for Northcote City. So people are going to be start experimenting there. Let's watch out. But no, look, it's overall a great start to the season. And Giorgio Sedenis, again, on the score sheet. Yeah. How do you stop this guy?
Terry Swaby as well. He's making a habit of
They are. I mean, it's great because you see multiple influences in the squad that it's actually contributing. And that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want multiple players to come in and give it. Even Spasserski, who came on, and he's done his job. He's got a ripper in, and he's, I didn't think it was going to be 3. I think it was going to be a closer game.
Maybe 1-0, 2-1.
Maybe if there's going to be goals, maybe 2 odds. But 3-0, if you're North City, it's 4 from 4, and you're dreaming right now of coming back up to, well, not really coming. When's the last one though? I don't even remember when the last one.
We have to go back maybe 10 or 12 years. That's a long time ago, but we'll kick things off. Still got the next game. Sunday, Manningham United versus Lang Warren. Manningham.
Saturday.
Sorry, Saturday, was it?
Saturday game.
Yeah, Saturday game. This public holidays killed us. Looking to bounce back after a 6-3 loss against Western United, while Langy also looking to bounce back after a 3-1 loss to Northcote. It was all Manningham who went up 2-0, goals from Christian Modenas and Yanni Panakos.
Panakos with the double.
Again, but Panakos scored a double in the 67th to give him a 3-0 lead. And then Kane Shepherd, experienced campaigner, made it nil. And good win for Manningham, despite not having Nick Marinas on the sidelines. I'm sure they would have missed him and his guns showing. But back to winning ways for Manningham, but Lang Warren starting to look worrying signs again.
We did say Lang Warren was going to be probably fighting around relegation. I mean, last year was a bit of the same story, and it's always been a case with, have they really got enough utility in the team now to get the job done?
They do lose their Archie McPhee. Big loss for them. Have they recruited? I don't think so enough. They have to limp to the halfway.
They have to, and then at that point, you need to start looking at because maybe Tasmania
may be the place to be. We'll move on to the next game. And this game, Arts, you commentated what a game this was. FC
great.
Melbourne, Serbia, 3-2 against North Sunshine Eagles. Talk us through it.
I think the only thing I will comment about the game is at Kevin Bartlett Reserve. If there's anything they need to fix on right now, is that pitch. I do want serious things to be handled, and that's number one thing. Yeah, because it's not. And I'm being serious here, guys, because I do not want to see players getting injured because of the pitch condition.
The council needs to pull its finger out. It's a council that.
It's a council's fault, and honestly, I don't know.
You look at the first goal.
It was Khan Elibol. He'd probably thinking, "What happened?" He hit a divot, and then it just went over. Like, look, I'll be honest. I saw Jag Hill, and when I saw his reaction, he's like, "Oh, I've got this." Yeah, and then just 1 second, not even half a second, took the divot and went over him. And I just thought, no way. And you think, they already lost a player to injury. I don't know for how long. It could be a substantial amount of time, Arts. And now the same divot causing them to go a goal down in that game. And you think, what next, really? But look, that's how it started. It was an early goal through Khan Elibol in the 3rd minute. Melbourne Serbia were in that game for most parts in the first half. They created a decent amount of opportunities. And it was Shepherd continuously down that left-hand side causing problems for North Sunshine Eagles. It was Emidio Rossi who got the game level in the 27th minute. There was a nice cutback cross, bottom corner finish, got the game level at 1-1. And at halftime, you thought, okay, both teams settled in. They did what they had to do. Went through some changes. I know Liam Bryan got subbed off at halftime from North Sunshine. They brought on Julian Barras. And within 5 minutes, again, Emidio Rossi just thought for himself, anyone to spark open. It was Rossi with the double, and he unfortunately did come off about 10, 12 minutes later with an injury. I think maybe some sort of like muscle tightness or something. Nathan Dibb came on for him. But it was 2-1 at that point. You thought, okay, North Sunshine need to respond. They brought some subs. They brought Cross and Shif Ahmed in. They just couldn't find a way back. There was literally a chance just before they conceded. Ben Devine got the looping header over Rory Bryan, and in the 7th minute, they went 3-1 up, but just before that, Min Chen Kim, meters wide, and that's just football. You go one way, you have a chance, almost goes in, and then you concede, and you go 3-1 there. And that's pretty much, it's one of those ones. I mean, Quarantine Chavez, better known as Coco, of course, I was seeing, I'm like, Coco, what's happening? He got a nice goal there. He did. To be fair, Jared Hill, I think he was expecting the cross. When I was commentating that game, Coco, I think, saw it, and and that's the quality of Chavez. He just knows the delivery, the decision of him is it's magical. It's like a maestro on the ball. And that's why North Sunshine are very lucky to have that in their arsenal, because he's sometimes the difference maker when it comes to North Sunshine winning games. And look, they may not be in the best position right now with the amount of losses. They've lost a couple of games in the Arts, but I'm not too worried about them right now because they'll win games.
All right, we'll look at the ladder then now. As you can see on our screen, Northcote sitting pretty on 4 wins on 12 points. Manningham, 3 wins on 9. Melbourne Knights, 9 points. Western United, most people would have them relegation battlers on 9. North Geelong Warriors on 9. So you've got 1, 2, 4 teams on 9 points.
Yeah, there's not many
So-
draws, Huts. There's a lot of wins and losses.
If you look at it from winning to being automatic promoted in playoffs, is goal difference.
Yep. That's going to be important. I mean, look at that, 10 goal difference.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Northcote, you're absolutely in dreamland.
Then you got Eltham on 7 points, Brunswick on 6, Brunswick Juventus that is, Brunswick City on 4, North Sunshine on 3, Victory on 3. Most people would have had them automatic promotion, but they haven't. Serbia 3, Bulleen Lions on 3. They play tonight, obviously.
I think they're playing tonight, right?
Yeah, against Melbourne Victory.
Yeah.
So we'll try to give you an update on the scores there. Lang Warren, 3 points. Port Melbourne, as you can see, on 0 and -10. But the concern arts, bottom 3, there's 1, 2,
I'm going to be honest.
4,
I'm looking at this table.
5 teams.
I'm looking at this table and I'm thinking 1 and 2 in that part of the table. And I was a little bit like taken back more from Victory's point of view. But last year, Bulleen was mid-table-ish. They were doing quite well.
Yeah.
They were pretty close to getting into that top 6. And right now they're struggling. I mean, I think they barely got the win against Port Melbourne Sharks. I mean, you can't even see them in this screenshot, not to say bad about them, but they're really on a way. And they're them and Lang Warren. There'll be a scruff or a bit of a fight.
It's going to be a scrap, I think, for them. But
and that game between Melbourne Victory Arts right now and Bulleen it's in the 20s, and they're still locked at 0-0. So plenty to play for.
Yep, we'll look at next week's games as round 5, Port Melbourne versus Lang Warren. It's a 6-pointer. It's a relegation 6-pointer when you think about it. Who have you got out of that game? Draw.
I'll just go draw.
Look,
surely both of them might at least get something from that game.
I think it will be a draw.
You actually think so? Yeah,
I
there you
actually
go.
think so.
You know what's weird? Is it me? Was it Friday nights? I always predict draws. It's a Friday night.
It's a
Friday night draw stalemate. It's a Friday night stalemate.
Brunswick City versus Melbourne Victory, another Friday night game. Who have you got there?
I reckon, look, I think it's pending tonight's result. I think if Victory win tonight against Bulleen, I think that they will go to Brunswick and get a result. I think they'll get maybe a 2-1 win.
I'm going to get Brunswick 2-1.
Yeah.
Next game, this is going to be a massive game. Melbourne Knights versus Melbourne Serbia. Oh,
you would love to be the commentator for that game.
Yeah.
That is an absolute mouth-watering clash.
I'm going to go the Knights to make it 4 in a row. I'm going to go
4 in a row?
4 in a row, and I'm going to go 3-1.
You're going 3-1. I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to go for the upset. I'm going to go Melbourne Serbia. FC Melbourne Serbia, after their 3-2 win, they looked spirited. The players started to play some exceptional football.
Yeah.
And on the Melbourne Knights ground, they might actually go there and get a result.
It's a big ground.
1-0.
You reckon? All right. This Saturday, Northcote versus North Sunshine. It's another juicy game.
It's another good game. They had epic battles last season between the two.
I'm going to go Northcote. I just feel like
You just think they're too good at the moment?
I think, yeah, they're going to... John Kane as well. They, really play well there. I think Northcote going to take that one out. I'm going to go 3-1.
You're against 3-1?
Yeah.
I think it's a tough one. I think North Sunshine, they're in a position now where they're going to grit their teeth and try to grab any result they can. I think they're going to get a draw.
Draw? Yeah.
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Northcote City with North Sunshine.
North Geelong versus Manningham, a big trip up to Alco Park. That's a tough one to call.
That's a tough one too. I'll tell you one thing. There's definitely beginning goals in this game. I'm thinking, let's go 3-2 to North Geelong Warriors.
North Geelong? All right. I'm going to go 4-3 North Geelong.
All right. That's it.
Sunday, we got Western United versus Eltham Redbacks. It's going to be
another good game. This is maybe a good round if you're watching it.
Playing at Ironbark Fields as well. It's I think I'm going to go Western United here. Maybe at 1-0 win.
Yeah, I'm going to go Western United 2-1 though.
2-1.
I think Western United are going to take that one out.
Yep. And then Monday night at the Veneto Club, Bulleen Lions versus Brunswick Juventus. I don't think Brunswick likes synthetic pitches. They didn't do too well against Eltham.
Yeah.
Bulleen aren't in good form. Depending on the results, I'm going to go a draw here, 1-1.
You reckon draw? I'm going to go Brunswick Juventus 2-0. I think Bulleen, and obviously like pending today's result, I don't know how they're going to finish up, but they've struggled so far this season. And something about the Veneto Club, they're just barely getting wins when they go at home. I don't know what it is. It's a strange thing. I'm definitely going to go Brunswick Juventus for the win.
I was thinking 1-0, but something tells me Brunswick
they're going to pull something out of the hat. I just had this.
I think 2-1.
I think 2-1 as well.
2-1.
Yeah, I think Brunswick Juventus 2-1 as well.
All right, so that's NPL. This is another big round.
Yeah.
Green Gully versus South Melbourne.
I'll be covering that one.
Green Gully
I'll be
itself.
there, Green Gully in South Melbourne on the Friday night at Green Gully Reserve. I myself started my junior career at Green Gully, so I'm back there again for this month. But yeah, look, this one's an interesting one. It's South Melbourne with all their heavy fixtures. You know, they're playing a lot of games. Green Gully get the draw against Hume. Can you see maybe?
No, I can't.
You don't think so?
South
You're
Melbourne.
comfortable?
I wouldn't say comfortable, but I think 2-0.
I'm going to go draw. And
Sure.
we're going to go Friday night style mates again.
All right. Next game, Oakland Cannons versus Heidelberg. This is a big game at Jack Edgewood's Reserve. Cannons, coming off a draw. Heidelberg coming off a big win against Preston. This is a tough game to pick. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, that one's going to be interesting as well because Oakley, with their attacking prowess, there's going to be goals. And with Heidelberg's defensive record, they're going to keep it real tight. So, look, Arts, I've got an update. 1-0 Bulleen Lee against Melbourne Victory. There you go. I just got a spot there. But yeah, with this one, I think Heidelberg will get the win, but it's going to be a very tough game. I'm going to go 2-1 to Heidelberg.
2-1. Ooh. Yeah, I'll probably go for that one. The next game, Preston Lions versus George Cross. Last time they met, they were in VPL1. And they shared the spoils, but we'll talk more about that at a different time. Probably the worst time to get Preston after a loss, I think. George Cross, look, it's going to be a tough game. I'm going to go a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go Preston.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't imagine not Preston dropping points at home again at Genestal Stadium.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-0.
I reckon it's going to be a draw. Either 1-1 or 0-0. I think it'll be that. Saturday, big game, Hume versus Dandy Thunder. Dandy Thunder desperately need points. They don't have to travel that far. Nasio Stadium. Hume starting to really put games together. I think for me, it's going to be Hume 2-1.
Hume 2-1. Yeah, I'm going to go for Dandy Thunder. I think, look, I think they might be able to go to Nasio Stadium and get the win. I'm going to go 1-0. I think the game is going to be tight. There's probably not going to be a lot of goals in that game. I have this odd feeling that they're probably going to try set up and try hit him on the break. I think Dandy Thunder will get that 1-0.
It's 2 games. Avondale versus Dandy City. I'm going to go Avondale. I think it's going to be a 3-1 win for Avondale.
I literally scratched my head because I was thinking what to do there. Avondale versus Dandy City. It's
Avondale to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking draw.
Draw.
I have this weird feeling that game's going to finish 0-0.
0-0. Okay, fair enough.
And before you go nuts, Melbourne Victory have equalised against Bulleen. There's goals flying in that game right now.
I'll keep you updated there. But next game, Melbourne City versus St Albans Saints. Melbourne City easy for me. I think 2-0.
I think, I don't know. It's a weird one with St Albans Saints though. Like they go to Altona Magic, they get a win, but do you think that's going to play on any of the players' minds? Do you think they'll go to Melbourne?
I just think Melbourne City are far too structured, and I think
it's going to hurt them.
It's going to hurt them. They play
on the break.
Specific style of football. They drill them down from the seniors up until the juniors.
You think it's going to be too much for them to handle this?
I just think, Lloyd Eastford wasn't in the lineup on the weekend. They really missed him. If he's in there, maybe Dinamo will have a chance. If he's out, I still think City.
I'm going to go Melbourne City. I'm going to go 2-0.
Yeah. And the last game of the round, this is going to be a tough one. Altona Magic versus Bentley.
Are you covering it?
I am covering it.
He's not too excited. It's a bit of a shame to me.
Look, to be honest, 2 teams that, look, they're not playing really attacking style football.
It's not champagne football, but at the end of the day,
it's barely Prosecco style football at the moment.
Prosecco.
I mean, it's less than a good day, but look, there's going to be maybe 1 goal in it. You could flip a coin. It's either 0 or 1 goal. Like you could flip a coin.
I think that game will come down to defensive structure, concentrating throughout the whole 90 minutes of that game, and any kind of slip up. And at the end of the day, if you take your chances, that's all that matters. I know we speak of Bentley not creating that many chances, but they go there, they get 1 chance, they score it, they can pinch it 1-0.
Exactly.
Look, for me, I'm going to go draw. I'm going to go 0-0. I think it's going to be a 4-1. look, I could be wrong.
Exactly. Who knows? It might be game of the round. It could be 3-0. But
If it's game of the round, we'll be talking about it first thing when this next week.
Yeah. Well, look, another fantastic round. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you get it right, let us know who you think it'll win. But again, we want to thank our sponsors, Domain Barbers at 15 Yarra Place in South Melbourne. Get down there and support them and let them know you're a friend of ours. If anyone else wants to jump on and sponsor us, we're more than happy to have you. Drop us a line. But make sure you follow us across all our social medias. We can't thank you enough for your support. And look, hopefully your team wins next week. Make sure you subscribe and like this video and keep supporting local content. Who knows? Hope your team wins.
Don't forget, 2 aces, 1 game.
Powered by Onflow Media and cuts.